Hello, my name is Kaz Wilcox. I am the Chronic Care Project Officer, and today I'm going to provide you with a short update and overview on the work of the Hume Diabetes Service Improvement Collaborative. Before I introduce you to the work of the Diabetes Collaborative, let me first touch base on the incidence and prevalence of chronic disease and diabetes in our communities and within our families. According to the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare, chronic diseases as a group are the leading cause of illness, disability and death in Australia. Today they account for 90% of all deaths, or if you were to look at that in another way, that's 9 out of 10 deaths in Australia are as a result of a chronic disease. What about diabetes worldwide? What do we know? Diabetes has risen 30% since 1990. And according to Diabetes Australia, diabetes is today the fastest growing disease in Australia. In Victoria, a little bit closer to home, 4.9% of our population has diabetes. And over the last decade, diabetes has doubled with 72% of the hotspots now in regional Victoria. Today I won't drill down to a regional view, as I know that the people who are listening to this presentation are probably more in tune with the impact of diabetes or the burden. So what can I tell you about the Hume Diabetes Service Improvement Collaborative? What was one of their main drivers or the reasons why this particular group were formed? It pretty well much came down to looking at how we, as a region, as a collaborative and as a network, can improve the way chronic care is delivered and delivered in a coordinated fashion. And that particular notion was first identified as a priority of the Hume Region Chronic Care Steering Committee. So based on regional insights, the Hume Region Chronic Care Steering Committee back in 2011 formulated the Hume Chronic Care Strategy, and during that process they identified that diabetes was a leading concern or a lead priority for the Hume region. So subsequently, as a result of the directions set by the Hume Region Chronic Care Steering Committee, the Hume Region Diabetes Service Improvement Collaborative, lots of long titles, guys, was formed in 2013, and as a forum, their charter, if you will, or mission, is to implement the National Diabetes Improvement Framework across the Hume region. Who are the collaborative? The collaborative brings together a group of clinical, planning and management representatives from agencies across the Hume region, both public and private, and is supported by officers from the Regional Office of the Department of Health. I should point out, because I think this is pretty important, guys, the Hume Collaborative is more than a network. They're more than a coordination point, and they're more than a cooperative. Of critical importance, the resulting group of health professionals who have formed the Hume Collaborative over the past 12 months, they have formed it and have built this particular collaborative on the basis of a strong foundation. And that foundation is built on trust. And when you look and reflect on this particular group of dynamic and committed individuals, it truly is a demonstration of this region's commitment towards enhancing partner capacity, the sharing of resources, and a very, very strong orientation and commitment and want towards harmonising activities for mutual gain. As most collaboratives, networks, businesses, and services need to have a vision, the collaborative have a vision, of course, and it's a pretty straightforward vision which very clearly articulates and maps what they are striving to achieve in the next 3 to 5 years. And it's as simple as people with chronic healthcare conditions in the Hume region have access to high quality services that work in partnership to provide person-centred care. So what are the aims, or our aims, within the collaborative? Knowing that we're guided by the National Diabetes Improvement Framework, the aim of the Diabetes Collaborative is to improve quality and access to diabetes across the Hume region by a number of different activities. First off the rank, the collaborative over the past year have spent some time, energy and resources auditing existing diabetes service provision within the region with the view to identify gaps and or opportunities in diabetes services. They're very keen to investigate and explore how we can better develop and apply the minimum standards, but the end goal is looking at over the past 6 to 12 months, the collaborative has focused its efforts on supporting 3 levels of service delivery across the Hume region. Strengthening best practice networks is high on their priority list, especially around the areas of better access or improved access to annual cycle of care milestones. Number 2, the development of at least one diabetes care centre that's accredited with NADC, or the National Association of Diabetes Centres. This is a strategic priority of the group, and the vision here is to see that an accredited diabetes care centre is established in each of the 4 primary care partnership catchment areas. Importantly, we also see that providing the building blocks for access to, again, accredited tertiary diabetes care centres is facilitated within the East and West Hume region. So as a group, what has the Diabetes Collaborative achieved so far? You'll notice that the very first bullet on this slide points to the formation of a dynamic, united collaborative. You may be thinking, is she spruiking this group? Yes, of course I am. But I also think it's very important to point out that in this particular industry, as you would only very well appreciate, being able to affect changes, long-lasting changes, are invariably reliant on the strength of the group of people who have come together to make it happen. The collaborative may have only been in operation for a very short 12 months. However, if you were to sit around the table, it is very evident that this particular group of healthcare professionals have at the centre of their focus improving the quality of care for people who may be living with diabetes. So to my mind, that is definitely a very, very big win. What else have they been up to? Given one of their priorities is to see the establishment of a diabetes care centre in each PCP region, they've undertaken the first, or completed rather, the first phase, which is to undertake an exploratory study to map and compare the staffing and professional qualification levels and EFT capacity of the healthcare services in this region. Why did they do this? It was all about mapping current capacity to compare it against the minimum accreditation standards as articulated by NADC. And that body of work has now been completed. What else have they been up to? This year has seen a marked lift in the number of healthcare service providers participating in the Australian National Diabetes Audit. This biannual audit, which is coordinated by NADC, if you're not familiar with the acronym, it's the National Association of Diabetes Centres. This year, the focus of the ANDA audit was to focus on the quality self-management components. So importantly, this audit considered quality assurance activity to promote continuous improvement in the standard of services delivered by healthcare providers. That on a local level, all the participants have now completed their part of the survey, and Monash University in Melbourne are now collating all the inputs from all the local respondents and indeed respondents from across Australia, and we hope to have a view of the final report in December of this year. More recently, the collaborative have banded together and have. The collaborative is reaching the midway point of its 2-year project. To ensure the collaborative's key activities and outcomes to date are aligned with both the national and Hume region priorities, the collaborative recently initiated an annual review. The process started in June of this year, which is 2014, and we've started that healthy process of critical reflection just to make sure that the strategic direction of our project, our plans and subsequent activities that have been initiated by the collaborative are very importantly on the right track. So thank you very much for your time. As I said, this was a very high-level short presentation of the work of the Hume Diabetes Service Improvement Collaborative. If during this presentation you have heard in the background the noises or the lovely words of various birds or a plane or two or a car or two, forgive me, but I decided that today, when pulling this together, I would sit next to the beautiful Murray River, and I'm doing that at the Mungabbarina Reserve in Albury. Cheers now.